All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 239 of the A15 Exchange, and we have the NFL Combine. It is March officially, okay? It is March officially, you know what that means for college basketball, so we're going to talk about that. Steph Dunk, and honestly, I probably should have just devoted an entire segment to that, but I did not. That's going to be in the roundup. We also got racing. Indycar is back. We're going to be talking about Indycar this year, I think, as well. So we got that. Entertainment, nothing too crazy. But you know, we'll talk a little something entertainment, and of course, combat sports, because we do have to talk about what happened between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. And also, you know it's special if I put something wrestling related in the thumbnail, which I did. So we got to talk about that. And I know combat sports is usually what we kick this off with, but it's going to be the main events. All right, we're going to reverse the order of what it would normally be for this current time period. So yes, as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, all right, everything you're looking for can be found in my description. All right, social media links can be found there, also in the outro. And of course, timestamps are embedded in the video. This is long form content. I get it. All right, skip to whatever you want to see or watch or hear me yap about. All right, so yeah, timestamps also in the description, embedded in the video. So let's get the show under the road. Like I said, we're reversing the order here today because, well, we got stuff to talk about in wrestling and combat sports. And it's pretty big. It's major. The NFL Combine, I don't want to say it came and went, but guys, I'm not going to lie. It kind of came and went. It was kind of orless, all right? To put it in modern terms, the NFL Combine, I'm not going to say it lie to you, it was kind of orless, all right? Nothing too crazy happened. The big thing this week was supposed to be Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond said that he was going to break the 40 record, which I'm going to be honest right now by Isaiah Bond. He does great PR for himself. He markets himself very, very well. The celebration, the name, the supposed talent. He does a great job of selling himself, of making him seem like he's a better player than he is. He's an okay receiver. But people kind of expected him to be a great receiver at Bama. And then it didn't happen. Then he came to Texas and he was supposed to be the thing that unlocks Quinn Ewers in that offense. But he was just okay. And at Texas, he lost that wide receiver one spot to a man named Matthew Golden. And then here at the Combine, Bond goes and says he's going to run in the 4.1s maybe. A 4.20 is what he's expecting. He's going to break Xavier Worthy for another former Longhorns record, which X did not take too kindly to after the matter. And he ran a 4.41. The record's 4.21. So you were 0.02 of a second off. That's a lot. You missed by a lot. You're fast. A 4.41 for a receiver is good. But it looks crazy because you were, wolfing about breaking the record, which you didn't even come close to. On the other hand, that Matthew Golden who beat him on the field, well, they beat him at the Combine too because he stole the show with a 4.3 flat unofficial, which it later got amended to, I think, a 4.29. Much closer to breaking the record. Didn't break it, but much closer. Much closer. But yeah, I didn't expect Golden to run a 4.29. I knew he was fast. I didn't know he was that fast. So he is flying up draft boards. He also just had a great, workout. So Golden, one of the big risers. Also out of that wide receiver group, big story was Tez Johnson, Oregon star receiver, came in at 5'9", which wasn't really surprising. 154. 5'9", 154. It's not great size. It's not great size for the NFL, all right, to say the least. But he did, and then he ran a 4.5, 4.40, which is not particularly fast, especially for a 5'9" guy, and especially at 154, you would expect something, especially with what we saw on Tez Johnson's tape. Game speed's, different from combine speed, but nonetheless. You would have thought, maybe like the 4.3s, but no, 4.54 for Tez. So didn't run well, didn't measure well, but did everything else well, and was one of the top performers. So yeah, an interesting combine for Tez Johnson. Matthew Golden, though, definitely with that 40 time. stole the show. Quarterbacks, I think they all performed decently. There was nobody, even Milrow didn't really have a disaster class like he had during the Senior Bowl. Jackson Dart definitely is kind of pulled into that third guy role. Ewers had a good day, but yeah, Jackson, with his size, his athleticism, and the way he was throwing that ball in those drills, I think a lot of people are high on him after Cam and Shadur, who, of course, did not throw, which I get, but also it's not like y'all have nothing to gain from having a good combine performance, so it's a little weird to me. But I digress. This running back class is stacked. Cam didn't run, but had a very, very, very high vertical, second highest behind Omarion Hampton, who nearly came in at 230 and still ran like a 4.4, had the highest vert, tested well. Both of the Ohio State boys, Trevion Henderson, who I actually thought was going to run faster. His game speed is ridiculous. Judkins ran a 4.4, which was huge. It's just a stacked. I mean, Sutton from Virginia Tech, formerly of North Carolina A&T, Aggie. All right, he ran the fastest with a 4.32 or 4.35. So yeah, that was big news too. And flying up boards, which is really cool to see as a 3.36 native. And yeah, man, running back class looks absolutely stacked. Going to be interesting to see how they kind of fall out. But yeah, it looks like a really good running back class. And last note from the NFL Combine, I do find it very funny how, as somebody that obviously follows, recruiting into college football, it's funny to see every single year the best testers like that aren't like the headlining names are always these former 5-star or 4 stars that were very highly regarded coming out of high school, and maybe they didn't live up to the hype, or they didn't live up to what people expected them to be, or didn't become necessarily superstars in college football, but then they come to the combine and they put up these ridiculous 40 times in vertical and they move so fluidly, and people are like, oh my goodness, how is this guy not a first rounder? Like we're seeing now with Shamar Stewart, who had a solid season last year, but, former number overall recruit before he reclassed, I think. And, now people are like, yo, this dude's a first round defensive lineman. So interesting there. James Pierce also ran really well, even with the character concerns. Big news story was Abdul Carter having a stress, not a fracture, but a stress-related injury to his foot, which could be a red flag. We'll see if he needs surgery or not. I don't know if that's going to move people off him, because I think Carter's just kind of like solidified as that top defensive prospect here, but we will see. But yeah, the NFL Combine, nothing too crazy this year. Kind of came and went, but I do wish some of those top talent, even though I understand it, but I do wish I feel like we see even less of the top talent kind of always do it. Not that the Combine doesn't matter, because obviously it does, because of the nature of the NFL draft, and people can be going those middle rounds and really make themselves some money and become really, really great players, as we know. But I do wish some of the headlining players did participate a little more, I will say. But, moving from the former college football players, let's talk about some current college basketball stars. All right. Boy, what a week it was. Again, it's March. It's the last week of the regular season upcoming, so it's time to get busy. All right. USC, UCLA. We starting off with the women. Okay. UCLA. Could they prevent the sweep? Could they prove supremacy? Could they get their get back? Absolutely not. Fight the on. Okay. Juju Watkins. I said earlier this year, Juju needed to, she's taking a step back a little bit this year. She needed to prove why people were saying she's the best player in women's college basketball. And she did that in this game. Juju went out and showed why people think she's the best in the game. 80-65, USC gets the sweep of their crosstown rivals, and Juju has a 30 ball in front of Cheryl Miller, who gave her, a little butt pat, dap up on the way out. But yeah, good stuff from Juju. I mean, superstar performance. This is what we expect from her. You know what I mean? This is what we expect. We expect greatness from Juju, and she was great in this game. She was great. She was the catalyst. She was whatever you want to call it. She was that top girl that we expect Juju Watkins to be. Kiki Iriafen, had 17 tonight as well. So yeah, she played perfect. I don't want to call her sidekick because that feels kind of rude, but she was kind of, Robin to Juju's Batman yesterday, and it was enough. All right, it was enough to get it done. The rest of the team didn't really contribute too much, to be completely honest with you, but Kiki, Juju, the stars showed up, and for UCLA, the stars went ghost. All right, Lauren had 11 and 11, but she also had 5 turnovers. You can't have that if you want to win these big games. Kiki Rice needs to determine. All right, we're in her junior year. She was a super high recruit, like the number 3 or number 2 recruit coming out of high school, alongside Lauren. Kiki's got to determine whether she wants to be a superstar or she wants to be a role player, because right now she's looking like a role player. That efficiency has gotten a lot better this year, But she got 16 in this game, but on 3 for 13, right? I need to see Kiki show up in these big games, and she just really hasn't made that jump. She's been the same player, it feels like. Though the efficiency got a little bit better, it just feels like she's not really taking that jump that a lot of people expected her into a star, and I feel like UCLA is missing that element. So yeah, Kiki gotta play better. Lauren has to play better, but yeah, we saw the superstars show up for USC, and that gets them the win. Notre Dame and Louisville. Notre Dame is off 2 straight losses. I feel like the number 1 team in the land. My. But they did get their get back here and would not take yet another loss as they take out Louisville 72-59. Hannah, again, still dealing with some efficiency struggles, but she still had 29 and 6. By the way, no steals, which is crazy because Hannah, of course, is the steal queen in women's college basketball. But yeah, no steals this game for Hannah. But yeah, she had 29 and 6, almost with a triple-double. Jada Curry was great, by the way, for Louisville, 19. But she was pretty much the only player with a pulse, it felt like, at times for the Cards. And that's not enough to beat a team the caliber of Notre Dame, even if they didn't play their best game or even have been in the best form. So, yeah, the Irish get it done. Hannah getting back there. All right, she's getting back. She's getting back. Let's talk about Kentucky, the women first, before we talk about the men. And it's not going to be good either way. You faced South Carolina. And South Carolina and Dawn Staley, like I said, man, they needed some revenge. They needed some revenge, and they dished it out here. Not against Kentucky particularly, but like I said, it was the week of get-backs. Or sweeps if you're USC. But South Carolina gets the win 78-66. They needed this one. All right, they needed this one bad. 32 points off the bench, off of basically 3 players here. Tessa Johnson. It's March Tessa Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Tournament Tessa. 16 points here for Tessa off the bench. Lay had 10. Joyce had 6. That makes up the 32 off the bench. In comparison, Kentucky had 3. So that should tell you how that went. All right, that should tell you how that went. Clara Strack had 23. She was big time. Georgia Moore needed to be more efficient, but she did have 16. But like I said, G went like for 6 for 19. That's not going to win, especially against a team that plays defense the way South Carolina does. And, I mean, simply put, the depth. All right, that's the one calling card for the Gamecocks. Is their depth. Besides the fact that Dawn Staley is their coach, this is a very deep team. Maybe the deepest in college basketball. It's a deep, deep team. They got a lot of girls that can go. Maybe not that superstar, but they got a lot of people that can go. Chloe Kitts had 12 and 10. Pow had 13, 5, and 6. I mean, they got bodies, man. They got bodies, and when they can all get it going or somebody's getting it going, they get into that flow state, so to speak. They can be a very, very dangerous team and remain a championship contender. But yeah, big win here against Kentucky in what is still a loaded SEC on the women's side, okay? And we know how bad it's been on the men's side because, my God, it's a bloodbath. And it continued this week. Kentucky, like I said, it's not getting any better, Wildcat fans. It's not getting any better. Y'all took on Auburn. And listen, if Janai Broome has 9 and 6 and Amari Williams has 13, 4, and 7 to dominate that matchup, and you shut down maybe the National Player of the Year, you're thinking, yo, we might have done this. But no, 94-78, the number 1 team in the land stays the number 1 team in the land. Miles Kelly had a game. 30 points, 9 threes. He looked like Klay Thompson. It was ridiculous. All right, Miles with a career game here against UK. CBM had 22. Tahad had 21 off the bench. And Auburn, even with Broome shut down in this game, still got it done. Away had 21, which, boy, did he need. Carr had 20, but it was not enough. Auburn lit up the scoreboard and lit up Lexington. They get the win here against UK. And a close. Or no, not to close yet. Let's stay in the SEC. My bad. Let's stay in the SEC. I almost forgot. Tennessee and Bama. How could I? The headlining matchup of the week for the SEC. Number 5 versus number 6, I believe. And it came down to a buzzer beater. And it stayed with the Vols. They get the home win against Bama, 79-76. Mashak just, again, it was funny because Barnes was trying to call a timeout. Mashak thought he was just saying go shoot it. He saw them take out Zakai, so he said, I'm going to let it fly. And in the words of Chris Smoove, splashed. All right. And yeah, the Vols get the game winner here. Chaz Lanier, yet another great game for him. 18 points here. Gainey had 18 off the bench. Mark Sears still answering my call. He had 24. So yeah, shout out to Mark. But it was not enough. It was not enough. A great game. Probably the best game of the week, by the way, between Tennessee and Bama. Check the highlights of that one if you didn't, because it was some good stuff. All right. Michigan State. All right. March Izzo. It's here. It's here. They get the big win here in the, between 2 top 15 teams. 71-62 today over Wisconsin. Jaden Akins had 19 and 8. Jackson Kohler had 10 and 16. Yes, 16 rebounds for Kohler. Blackwell had 19, but as I always say, it was not enough. It was not enough. And Michigan State gets the big win here in the Big Ten against Wisconsin. March Izzo is here. Simply put, March Izzo is here, and Michigan State is going to be a very dangerous team. Cohen Carr remains a absolute highlight reel. So, yeah, Sparty looking real good. They take out the Badgers. We will see what happens. But, yeah, last week of the regular season, I have a big day on Saturday because Duke plays Carolina at Chapel Hill. So that will determine. They're also throwing a party. How I feel about that party. So, yeah, we'll see. But college basketball is, it's March. It's that season now. It's that season. And now that brings us to entertainment. Honestly, this is going to be a very short entertainment segment because nothing too crazy to talk about. Alter Ego was the big drop this week. Lisa dropped Alter Ego. And I made an album reaction. So if you want to go to the Patreon, you can check out that full reaction. I gave it an 8.6. Alright, to spoil. Very much so enjoyed this. Alright, chill, lifestyle. When I'm with you. Alright, that was terrible. But her and Tyler did that much better. And of course, F Up the World feats Future. Reacted to that on the album. Of course, she had the solo version, which was also great, that I reacted to on the channel, which you can go watch. So yeah, Lisa, Alter Ego, good stuff. I am currently, let's talk about telly that I'm watching. I'm currently watching The White Lotus, trying to catch up. Still watching Game of Thrones. We are in season 6, episode like 3 or 4. But yeah, White Lotus season 2, very good. Very good. I like it better than season 1 so far. So yeah, I'm trying to catch up because the White Lotus is going on right now. Invincible, let's talk about it. Alright, let's talk about it. Oh boy. Oh my days. Oh my days. Powerplex. We're going to talk about generational haters when we talk about Seth Rollins and what happened at Elimination Chamber. But Powerplex is a real hater too. I mean, a real hater, but unfortunately, it's like that Eric Andre skit because you fried your family. Your hate drove you to fry your family, and you still crashed out. All right, just the no good, very bad. No good, very bad. But yeah, interesting little episode. It was a nice little kind of comeback episode. We've had some crazy episodes the weeks before, and even though this was still a relatively crazy episode, a lot of development, necessary like narrative development, even with the other Guardians. With Robot and Monster Girl and all that stuff. So yeah, good stuff. Nice step back episode. Oliver is still very much so Oliver. And yeah, again, Invincible. Best show on telly. Alright, best show on telly. And we got Invincible War, which if you know, you know. We got that coming next week. We'll talk about that then. But yeah, that's everything for entertainment. Which brings me to combat sports, ladies and gentlemen. The fight game, including WWE today, professional wrestling. Is taking the headlining spot because boy, oh boy, okay? We're starting off with boxing, all right? Actually, no, we're going to start off with elimination. Let's just straight to it. Elimination Chamber, okay? Because one of the craziest things in professional wrestling, WWE history, has happened. After 20 years, ladies and gentlemen, John Cena has turned heel. John Cena has turned heel. Oh, my days. Oh my days. That was, and it started to click with me because I was trying to figure out, because there was leaks. And Triple H's regime has been great with leaking incorrect information and completely throw everybody off and subvert expectations. And they did it once here again, because the big leak was, Drew was supposed to win the Chamber, and the Rock segment was in the middle of the show. But then that's not what happened. All right, Drew was eliminated first. And The Rock went off at the end, which was like, okay, something big is going to happen, but I don't know what, right? And I was trying to figure out who was going to win. People thought maybe Punk would go corporate. Maybe Cody does take it and he attacks whoever wins the Chamber. But I was really trying to figure out. And I like the men's Chamber match. I think both Chamber matches were great. The women's match was fantastic. The big thing with Jade, oh my goodness. She looks like a star. Like if you looked up a star in the dictionary, it would be Jade Cargill. Perfect woman. All right, physically speaking, an absolutely perfect woman. Blessed by the gods, okay? Blessed by them. But yeah, that was a great angle with her, and then Liv being an MVP, Bianca cooking. Everybody cooked. Rox, Bailey. All right, shout out to Women's Chamber. Sammy and KO killed each other. Everything was very, very solid. Trish and Tiffy, oh my. Could make a man weak. All right, so everything was cooking, and then Men's Chamber came, and we were like, first three need to warm up a little bit, but especially once they got that Seth Punk Cena portion cooking, absolutely cooking with some grease. The real John Cena popped out. Him and Punk, wrestling soulmates. All right, that was beautiful. All right, I was like, you know what, my goat is not washed. But then he wins the chamber on some slide because Seth Rollins is the greatest hater of all time, potentially. All right, player hater of the year. He's going for it yet again here in 2025. He stumps Punk. Cena says, you know what? I got to get 17 by any means necessary. So he drags Punk, chokes him out. Punk crashes out after the match, but we didn't see that. But he did. And yeah, Cena wins. Big celebration. Cody comes out. They're dapping it up, being all friendly. Then The Rock comes out. Oh, wait, it's Travis Scott pulls up. All right, and yet another remix because The Rock has a different entrance music every single time we see him now. But I get it. He's the final boss. Aura. It was auraful. All right, it was very auraful. Okay, so Trav and Rock make this grand. Travis carrying around his specialized championship belt, aura farming the entire time. Rock, of course, asks Cody for his soul. Cody tells him to go F himself. And that was not censored. So for great effect, Cena's acting, being super overtly comical, which is what he's been since he's come back. He's been this he's put a little extra on it. And we found out why, because he was a fraud. He was a fraud for in one of the most iconic moments now in WWE history. Dwayne gives him it's done. It's done. And it's done. He kicks Cody in the nuts, bloodies him. Hell, Trav got some licks in. It was just insane. Toronto's shocked. Drizzy was probably shocked behind where he was sitting. It was insane scenes, all right? And then you got Cody and Rock just ore farming with Trav in the background looking like the third member of the NWO. I think it was insane, all right? It was insane. One of the craziest moments of my wrestling fandom, one of the craziest moments in the history of the WWE, and probably just professional wrestling, okay? It's crazy because people were like, you know what? They got to the point where it was like, okay, Cena not being heel is fine. He's John Cena at this point, right? He can't go heel. All the Make-A-Wishes, he's the hero. That's who Cena is. He always overcomes the hatred, the villainry. He's a superhero. But then, and he showed off the acting chops. When that expression changed, flipped that switch and we were right back. So yeah, WrestleMania's build out, the build up was it was like, it wasn't nothing crazy. It felt like it was a down year. No crazy overarching story. And then Trips did it again. All right, so yeah, Dwayne, The Rock, Hunter, Triple H, Cena, they cooked. All right, they cooked here. Okay, I'm afraid the WWE cooked here once again, and they've got me right back. All right, they got me right back. But Cena turns heel, one of the craziest moments. All right, and I know a lot of people had an issue with Trav being there, which he was out of place. But honestly, it makes sense for the whole corporate champion. Of course, one of the biggest artists in the world showing up and posing with them and doing all this stuff to make for the image. It makes sense. And apparently Travis maybe even going to hop in the ring, which we've seen, Benito, Bad Bunny did it great. So yeah, we'll see if Trav can do it. But yeah, great stuff from Elimination Chamber, great pay-per-view, and of course the world is in disarray. Right? The wrestling world is in disarray right now. Let's talk about the other stuff here in combat sports that we usually talk about, like boxing, right? This was going to be in the Roundup, right? I expected Tank to knock Lamont Roach out, and that was going to be that, and we talk about who he gets next. But instead, I'm talking to you today about how Lamont Roach got robbed. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, my boy. He got robbed. Fleeced. I understand that, Tank may have gotten grease in his eye, because I don't think that was a punch to knock him down. But, my brother, you still can't take a knee, because that's a knockdown. That's what that is, and that's the boxing rule. You take a knee, it's a knockdown. So that should have been a knockdown. Regardless of what he had, grease in his eye or whatever. Alright? So what? You got your hair done. Okay? Is what it is. Alright? But Roach went toe to toe. He took Tank's power. And we saw Tank get shook up for the first time, maybe ever. It was an incredible star-making performance from Roach. From, a guy that was expected to be just another lamb to slaughter, to be honest with you. He went and showed up and won. In my opinion, he won. But Tank got protected. They gave it a draw. It should be a rematch. It should be a rematch. I think pretty just cut and dry. Should be a rematch. With better refs. And better, scorecards. Please, judges. Just more more fair scorecards. That's all I'm asking. Okay, we know boxing is corrupt, but this was one of those times. All right, but yeah, Lamont Roach maybe exposes Tank here, or maybe Roach is just that good. But yeah, we'll see. But huge surprising news there. UFC 213 is this weekend. Alex Pereira, Poatan, the most dangerous man in the world, in my opinion, the baddest man on the planet, is back. He's taking on Ankalaev. I feel like Alex just fought not too long ago, now that I think about it. But anyways, Alex versus Anka. I think Alex beats him, but this is the right fight to make. But yeah, I'm not taking anybody over Alex until Father Time catches up. I am not taking anybody over Alex. I think he remains king at light heavyweight. Maybe setting up, a heavyweight battle in the near future. Gaethje versus Fiziev is the co-main on this, which should be fireworks. And yeah, other than that, not a crazy card, but I feel like it could be one of those cards that sneaks up on us. So yeah, we'll see. UFC 213 though, I expect Poatan to still be Poatan and Gaethje and Fiziev to put on a master class. And ladies and gentlemen, with that said, we have reached the roundup. And of course, we're kicking it off with racing as per usual. All right, Circuit of the Americas just ended. Christopher Bell has gone back to back. Atlanta last week, Atlanta last week, Austin this week. Great race. All right, great race. I don't know what point it really kind of kicked in, but these road course races are honestly some of the most entertaining. Between them and the super speedways, in my opinion, have become the most entertaining races to watch in NASCAR. So, yeah, Seabell, it was just some great driving at the end. Got past Kyle. Kyle's car had nothing left. Was very patient. We've seen, honestly, like Ross Chastain. Probably would have put Kyle on the wall. But, Bell, one of the best in the world, just outdrove him. Was patient. And then took his opportunity when it came. William Byron got so close. Chase Elliott did a good job getting a top 5 here after, some early conflicts. So, yeah, good stuff. Seabell back to back. He's got the momentum right now. Could be the championship year for Mr. Christopher Bell. Indycar, I said we were going to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, the defending champion gets it done at St. Petersburg. Alex Palou. It's the reason why McLaren was going to let him drive F1 before they went and got Oscar. That's all really needs to be said by that. All right, Alex, he's that guy. He is that guy. Defending champ. Starts off where he left off. He gets the win at St. Pete's. Let's talk about the NBA. Chef Curry had 56 last week. All right, ties a career high, I think, or at least, what is it? High is like it's the highest points total for somebody over 35. I think it's what Kobe and then Bron and Chef are now tied, and I think with somebody else at 56 or something like that. But anyways, he hit a ridiculous amount of threes. It was a classic Curry game. All right, he round the clock back. It seems like Jimmy Butler. I said it didn't move the needle, but it's moving the needle a little bit. So I might have to admit that. Warriors playing really, really well right now. We'll see if they can keep it going. Chef Curry also dunked this week. So yeah, great into Black History Month for Steph Curry. Joel Embiid is injured. I really don't care. I'm not surprised. His career is going down as a what if. At this point, the process is going down as a what if. And it's very, very funny that Paul George, said, I'm leaving my podcast to focus on getting us a championship just for that championship. Not that they ever had it, even if Embiid was there. Just for that to die, immediately. Immediately. It's almost poetic. But yeah, Embiid out for the season, not surprised there. Alexander Ovechkin is now 10 goals after his current rampage. I think 5 goals in 5 games, might even be more than that. But yeah, Ovi, 10 goals away from passing Gretzky, who is not the favorite son that he usually is in Canada currently because of his political views. But Ovi, 10 goals away from tying, 11 from breaking. Seems like, we might see seeing that in the next 2 weeks if he keeps this current rate up. So yeah, Alex on the chase. And to end us off, honestly could have mentioned this for the Combine, but yeah, Deebo Samuel got traded for a bag of chips to the Commanders. So more weapons for Jalen Daniels. Again, Commanders doing all the right moves, even if you think Deebo's washed. He's still at least a very solid receiver. That only makes that receiving corp and, just a little bit stronger for your young quarterback. So yeah, I like the move for the Commanders. Didn't really have to give up much. So we'll see what happens there. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, for episode 239, Ocho signing off.